So this is a pretty special video because this is my 100th video! Hooray! If you hear things in the background, it's because I have lots of animals in my room. In fact, I have like a huge amount more than I did when I last recorded videos. I have 26 animals in my room. So if you hear them, it's also raining outside. So if you hear rain, it's that. And if you hear like just crinkling of paper or noises, it's probably the animals. So just, I can't make them shut up. So you're just gonna have to deal with them. So I have quite a few things going on in my life currently. I need glasses, I'm getting a service dog. My birthday is coming up. My birthday is on May 9th. And I'm getting my service dog on the 11th. And I'm getting my glasses, hopefully, on May 9th. And then after that, I'm going to be going on a cruise. So, yeah, pretty eventful month. So, about the glasses, I have stigmatism in my right eye. And both of them are nearsighted. So I'm getting glasses. They aren't very bad. I'm only at like a 0.25 in my left and a 0.50 in my right. So I can see perfectly fine, but I don't want my eyes getting any worse, and they are good for, I can't see far away, all too far. So, I want them for my vacation, since I'm going to be going on a lot of sightseeing on that. So, yeah. And then I'm gonna have my service dog as a puppy. He's a puppy currently. So I'm getting him as a puppy and self-training him up to be my service dog. So he won't be coming on the vacation with us, sadly. I'll have him for 2 weeks, then I have to give him to one of our friends to watch for a while. So that's gonna be sad. I've been training my pug to be a service dog as practice for him. So that's like updates and stuff. So I am going to talk about my experience in therapy. And I'm gonna say this before I start, that I don't think all therapists are like this. I think I just had a bad therapist, but it's completely turned me off of therapy, so I will not do it, but I completely support you doing it if you need it. I think it could really help some people, just it doesn't work for me. So just getting that out of the way. I went in for depression and suicidal thoughts, along with social anxiety. I've now figured out that it's not social anxiety, it's selective mutism, which means I cannot make myself talk. Like, it's not like I'm choosing to not talk, I physically can't in some situations. My body just shuts down and I cannot talk to people. And then that gave me social anxiety, because I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to talk to anyone, because nothing works. But, would you shush? He's playing in his, one of my rats is playing in his, what's it called? Newspaper. I gave him newspaper. He's playing in it. He built a house out of it. So I really wanted to solve the depression, because I was suicidal, and that's not good. And I didn't want to be that way anymore. But she focused on the anxiety, which I did not go in there for. I did not go in for anxiety. It was like a thing, I'm like, I'm here. She asked me, like, what's wrong? I'm like, well, I have depression and suicidal thoughts, and I have minor social anxiety. Like, I can't talk to people. And so she chose to focus on the anxiety instead of the depression. which is really not what I wanted. But I did get a few things from it, so I won't say it's a complete, it was a complete total waste of time for me. I was like, I figured out that I have a weird tone of voice. So when I'm joking or like poking fun, I sound like I'm actually mad or meaning it, and I don't. Like, I'll be laughing and arguing with someone, like fake, like, you know, just like arguing with quotations, and they will get very mad at me all of a sudden. I'm like, what did I do? So it's like, people don't like my voice. Apparently it doesn't sound like everyone else's, so it's like very hard for people to tell that I'm joking. So she was not very good. So she didn't even help me with my anxiety. She taught me this one breathing thing that you could easily look up online, and that I did not need and doesn't help me. It helps me with the only thing I've ever used it to do, and that's actually helped me, is for my snake, because I used to be scared of holding my snake, and I don't know why, but it was just my one snake I was afraid of. I could hold all my other ones. I have 6 snakes, and I could hold all 5, just not him. So the only thing I've ever used it for was to get over my fear of holding him. And now, thanks to that, my mom tells me every time I'm having depression or anxiety or anything, my mom's like, do your 4 square breathing, that's what your therapist told you to do. I'm like, yeah, but she was a crap therapist, and it doesn't work for depression. It only works for certain types. It doesn't even work for all types of anxiety. It works for certain types of anxiety, and it does not work for my type of anxiety. So it might work for you. I'm just saying it doesn't work for me, and it's not meant to work for depression, because it's depression. It's not like you have to control your breathing, which is all this about. It's just like, if you control your breathing, you won't have an anxiety attack anymore, which I don't know if it works for other people. I've never experienced it working for me. So it was just like that, quite like, yeah, I don't think that will work. So, as some of you might know, because I've probably mentioned it in another video, is that I'm homeschooled. I don't take online courses. I'm a whole life learner. So, like, I don't do programs. I don't have a teacher that checks up on me or anything. And yes, it's perfectly legal. You do not have to have a teacher checking up on you. You just have to pass this like test thing that just the like thing does. At least in like the United States. I'm not speaking for anywhere else, just where I live. So this is the reason why I stopped seeing her, because my mom had convinced me before, when I said I don't want to go here anymore, she's not helping, is that she's just warming up to you. She's just figuring out what you need. So I was like, okay, I'll stay until she starts helping me. Or like a year's passed and she hasn't helped me yet. This actually made me like leave, and I never came back. Is that she asked me like, oh, do you have a teacher that you check in with? I'm like, no, I'm whole life learner. And she's like, that's illegal. You have to have a teacher. I'm like, no, you don't. And she's like, yes, you do. I know all about school. You have to. I'm like, okay, I don't want to argue with you. And she's like, I'm not arguing. I'm like, whatever you say, crazy, because I'm pretty sure you're arguing with me right now. I didn't actually say that, but I was like, okay, fine. That was one thing that I couldn't deal with that anymore, you know? Like, it was like, you say you're not arguing with me, well, you're currently arguing with me. And then she was like, I don't judge. I'm not arguing. I don't judge. I'm like, you're arguing and you're judging. And you're belittling me by saying just because I can't tell you exactly why, I can't pull up the law, like, out of my brain that this is the law that states that I can do this. You know? Like, can't you just believe me that the law doesn't say that? Can't you look it up for yourself? Why do you have to argue? The whole point of, like, a lot of homeschoolers is that you don't have a teacher to check it up with. You just kind of do it yourself. Your mom's your teacher, or your dad's your teacher. Your parental figure is your teacher, and they do all of the tests and stuff. And you do not need to take courses, and you do not need to be learning anything, because you always are learning stuff. You don't need to be taught anything. And I was saying my mom doesn't teach me. Like, she doesn't teach me with homework. I don't forget what I actually said, but I don't do schoolwork. And she said, it's illegal not to learn. It's illegal for you not to learn. And I was just like, I am learning, just I'm not being, like, taught school curriculum. That's what I said. I'm not being taught school curriculum, because I'm being teach stuff. I'm being taught how to own and run a business, how to buy groceries, how to do simple math, like math that you use every day. So it's not really simple math, like adding and subtraction, but I'm taught, like, how to figure out what price it is per ounce and blah 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 blah, like food is. So I'm, like, being taught things, just not like the school curriculum. And she's like, it's legal for you not to be taught that. I'm like, no, it's not. It's also not illegal for me to not learn. She literally used the words, it's illegal for you to not learn. Even if it was, I'm still learning. Everyone learns all the time, even if you're not in school. Like, does she just think that after you're out of school, you stop learning things? Like, does she just think you only have a school education, and then after that you're like, I learned nothing else. My brain's shut off now. I just know what I know, and I can't learn anything else. I don't know any new experiences. Like, so she was so infuriating. And that day, she made me so angry that I literally stormed out in tears, because she saw I was getting upset, and she's like, you can leave early if you want. I'm like, I want to leave early. And I walked out, and she's like, I'll see you next week. And I literally just walked out to my mom, and I was like, I'm ready to go. And we, like, left. And in the car, I'm like, I'm never coming back here. I'm not coming back. And we got messages from them, like, we need to schedule your next appointment. And we're just kind of like, nope. We're not scheduling ever again. No. So, though I do have to go see a psychologist, not a therapist, they're completely different things. I'm going to see a psychologist to get a prescription for bipolar, because I'm bipolar and I need medication for it, because I still have depression fits where I bang my head very violently into a wall until it literally swells, and I have a bruise on my forehead from doing it. So I want to get medicine to keep me from doing that, to control myself better. So yeah, that's basically my experience with therapy, my horrible experience, and I'll say it again. If you want to get therapy and you think it would help you, I will not discourage you from doing it. And don't let my experiences, discourage you from doing it. There's lots of great therapists, but I seriously doubt she was a natural therapist, because she did not give me anything to help me. She did not, like, talk about anything. She just, like, how's your week been? And then I would, like, talk about my week, and she's like, I can't help you if you don't tell me anything bad. I'm like, but nothing bad happened this week. I've been good. Like, how am I'm just supposed to make things up to tell you that was bad? Like, my week went good. And, like, I saw her every week. So I'm like, if nothing went on for a month, because I was like, I haven't been leaving the house. And I haven't been interacting much with people, because I was going through, like, it's like it's basically a depression stage, but you don't feel sad. You just want to stay in all day, and you don't want to interact with anyone or do anything. So I had like completely closed myself off in my room. So I'm like, my week's been good. I haven't had any like fights with my mom or like anxiety attacks from going out in public. So like everything's been good. I don't need to talk to you about anything, because at the time I didn't realize it was like a depression thing. I just was like, don't leave my room currently. Decides to go out and see my friend at book club. So I was like, I saw my friend, nothing bad really happened. Or I had like a really good week, and I'd tell her all the good things that have happened. Like, I got a new dog, and she's like, if you don't tell me the bad things, I can't help you. I'm like, but nothing bad happened. So I like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I just feel like there's going to be a news report soon, like in the next couple of years, that's like, Parker therapist, caught for not being a real therapist. And it's like just faking being a therapist to like talk to people. So, because she was like really bad. But not all therapists are like that. There's a whole bunch of great therapists. And if you can actually describe what your problems are to people, I would really, really recommend it. Because that was my main problem. Because I said I had anxiety. Now I realize I don't have anxiety. So she would always ask me, what are you scared of? I'm like, well, I'm not scared of anything. I just can't talk in public. Which, there's another thing. If someone says they have anxiety and it's not diagnosed, it's just like, I feel like I have anxiety. Because I was not diagnosed at the time. And I'm still not diagnosed with anxiety. So if someone comes in and says, I have no diagnoses, but I'm here for like having anxiety feelings, and they're describing it to you, that isn't anxiety. That's like, I just can't talk. I'm not fearful of anything. I'm not worrying about anything. I just can't make my voice come out. Maybe you should be like, maybe it's not anxiety. Not that it's like, it's just anxiety, but they're lying to me. Because she was like, she asked me that question so consistently that I'm like, did you not listen to me last time? Like, that was another thing. She asked me questions over and over and over again, where it was like to the point where I'm like, did you ever even listen to what I said last time? Were you even like listening to me and like giving feedback? Because a lot of times when I'd talk to her, she was just like, yeah, I was like, so it really made doubt in my mind that like, I don't know if she's listening to me. But like, if you go in for anxiety, especially social anxiety, they are going to ask you, what are you afraid of? And if you do not have an answer to that, try and think of something else it might be. Because it's probably not anxiety. It's probably something else. And then you can go in for anxiety if that thing causes you anxiety. Like how my selective mutism causes me to have social anxiety, because I know I won't be able to talk to people, so I don't like going out where there's people who could talk to me, and I don't like interacting with people, because I have anxiety about that. It's very different to go into therapy. You shouldn't be going into therapy if you don't know what you have and you're trying to figure it out. You have to know what you have. You can't just be like, I think I have anxiety. You have to know what causes your anxiety. You have to, like, it doesn't have to be diagnosed, but it probably should be. Because all of my things, when I actually went to therapy, weren't diagnosed. I just wanted help. You have to, like, if they ask you, what are you afraid of? You can't answer nothing. You have to answer, oh, I'm afraid people are going to judge me. Because, she would also, like, jump to those conclusions. Like, I would be just, like, talking about how I can't talk to people. Or, like, that I don't like going out in public alone. Because because of the problems that I need a service dog for, prevent me from going out in public alone. I need my mom there, so she can help me. So I don't like going out into places alone without help. And she'd be like, so you're afraid people are judging you? I'm like, no. Or she'd be like, so you're afraid everyone's a rapist? I'm like, no. Like, it was always like, oh, you're afraid of people judging you. And then I'd say no. And then, like, a few, like, sessions later, she'd be like, so you're afraid of people judging you? No! I told you that a few weeks ago that I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of anything. And it just didn't feel like she was listening. So, and you know, you don't get help if the person's not listening to what you need help for, you know? So it was just like, just like, you have to be able to say, yeah, I'm afraid of being judged. Or I'm afraid there's going to be people I know there. Or something like that. You have to have, like, a reason for your anxiety. Depression is different, but I never really touched on that with her, even though that's what I went in for. She just told me, like, look on the bright side of things. Like, yeah, that helps with depression. Totally. Just look on the bright side of things, because you can totally do that when you have depression. No, depression's a chemical in your head that makes you sad for, like, no reason. It makes you have all these symptoms. But it's not just like, oh, you need to stop thinking so negatively. It's like, I don't think negatively besides when I'm having depression. Like, it's not just like everything that happens to me is always horrible. I look on the bright side of things a lot. But it is really hard to do when you're in that negative zone where just everything's negative and you can think positively, but it doesn't help. Like, you can think of, my parents love me, and my friends love me, and I have a girlfriend, and all this, and your mind's still saying they wouldn't care. They don't care. They hate you. If you died, they'd get over it, even if you keep telling yourself it. So, like, just thinking happy doesn't help, at least for me. So, it is actually it's a chemical imbalance in your brain, so you need to actually get pills for it. So, if you have depression, like, even if you're, like, against taking pills, I would strongly recommend you take pills for depression, because it is a chemical imbalance in your brain. So, like, you can't just get over it by yourself. You need to take supplements to fix that. So, that's my advice. And get animals. That's, like, my whole reason for still being alive is I have animals. Who's gonna take care of them when I'm gone? And I don't know who they'll go to if I die. Like, I know my parents would sell them, because my parents aren't going to be able to keep taking care of all of these animals. I have over 26 animals that are just mine, that I own. So they would sell them. So my thing's like, I don't want them to go to a bad owner where they're going to be killed or not taken proper care of. Because a lot of people get animals, even from Craigslist and stuff, that they don't just know how to care for properly. Like, they think they can. Like, I have a turtle I just got recently. You can check them out on my channel, Little Owl's Pets. I took a video of her. I got her from a person who took her on as a rescue. They rescued her, and she was a baby. And they had her in a 10-gallon with no place to get out of the water. Her shells started to rot, so she's not in that great of condition. She doesn't like being touched. She hates people. So I took her and put her on my rock. So, like, people think they know how to take care of animals, but they don't. Because that person had all of the correct intentions. They just didn't have enough money to take care of her, or enough education in turtles to take care of her. Like, they had snakes, so they're like, yeah, I can do a turtle. And then she was mistreated, even though they were not intending to mistreat her. So I took her off of their hands. Like, that's always my thing. So if you have depression, I wouldn't say get like a high maintenance animal like a dog or a cat. You have to get one that you can feed like once a week. Like rats. Well, they have to eat constantly. They're actually surprisingly high maintenance compared to, that's another thing that I'd be worried about, is my rats not being taken proper care of, because a lot of people don't know that like the normal rat food isn't enough for rats. You have to feed them bugs and you have to make sure they're like calcium, protein bugs, really high in protein and calcium, and then you have to make sure they have fruits and veggies, and then you have to feed them their other stuff on top of it, like the actual rat food, because rat food's just grains, and they are omnivores, so they need meat, and if you don't, and they like companionship, so you can't have just one, you have to have more than one rat. They are not as social as you'd think they are. You have to have them separate and then slowly introduce them to each other. But the nice thing about it is that you could just put a whole bag of their normal food in there for a week, and then feed when you're feeling good. Just feed them and you can even fill like a huge bowl full of dried bugs for them. That's what I do. And then you only have to feed them like fresh veggies and stuff and fruit like once a week. So whenever you're feeling good, you can just do that. So they're one of the best animals to have when you have depression and stuff. The same thing with turtles. As long as you have a big proper tank for them, you can fill their water zone with goldfish, and then have some water lettuce growing in it, and then they like feed themselves. So those are like, and hermit crabs are all the ones I'd recommend getting for like if you want an animal and you have depression, so you're afraid you're not gonna be able to take care of it. Get like hermit crabs or rats or turtle, because you don't have to like give them that much attention. You just have to kind of take notice of when their water is getting low, or when when they don't have food, and refill it, and that's like it. So hermit crabs are easy because they just eat like the pellets, the little hermit crab pellets, and then they have the two waters, the salt water and their fresh water, and then you just need to fill those up a little bit sometimes, and then they basically take care of themselves. They have enough burying stuff, and like their water hardly ever disappears. And then I have their food, and that like I could not fill that for a month and they'd still be fine. So like those are the two foods, those are like the three animals I would recommend. So but you never want to get a single rat. For people who are thinking of getting them, you never want to get a single rat. I currently have one of my I have my 2 girl rats and 1 boy rat, and my 2 girls are pregnant, and normally my 2 girls and my boy share a cage because they are pack animals. They like to be together, but since they're pregnant, they get very aggressive towards the boy when they're pregnant. I had to remove him, so he's all by himself, and he's so depressed. It's so sad. I have to go hang out with him a lot and like go hold him. So you never want a single rat unless you can spend like all night with them, because they're nocturnal, so they want to be with people and active at night. So if you can spend all night and a lot of the day with them, you cannot get a single rat. You have to be able to spend like all of your time with them and be willing to spend all of your time with them. Because I stay at home almost all the time. Like I leave the house and go shopping and stuff, but I like don't have a job and I don't go to school. And my job, I'm going to have my animals with me at my job, because my job's running a pet store. So I could spend all of my time with them, but I really don't want to. Like I have sugar gliders and rats, and both of those need a lot of attention. And I can give it to them, but it's like a lot of work for me, even though I'm at home. So like if you have less time than me, and you're not willing to spend all of your free time with your animals, I would not recommend getting just one rat. Like, I spend my time with my boy rat because he's alone, but I could not do it, like, for 3 years that they would be alive. So I have only one of my sugar gliders is bonded to me, because the other two hate me, because I haven't bonded with them, and he's still not, like, the one that likes me is still not very friendly. Like, he doesn't let me pick him up. He climbs on me, and whenever I open the cage, he comes and sits like, hi! But, like, other than that, he doesn't see me. Like, he doesn't like me. I have a lot of animals, and now I have 100 speed paints. Yay. And again, I will put up my 2 other channels. I have Nightcore Zodiacs after my Zodiac family, because I have my twins. I'm pretty sure my twins... No, it's Har. Har is my profile picture on that. I should make it my twins. The twins, I drew them on this picture. They're the 2 hanging from the O. The 0. The last 0. Those are my twins from the Zodiac family. So I have the Nightcore Zodiac, which I make Nightcore songs on that, of course, considering the name's Nightcore. I also make karaoke, because I look up karaoke songs that I want to sing, and then there's no karaoke versions of them, so I make my own. So, and then I have Little Owl Pets, Little Owls, I think it is, Little Owls Pets, that I have videos of my hermit crabs, and my turtles, and all of my animals on. And I'm going to have videos of my service dog on when I get it, so I would recommend going and subscribing to at least whichever one you're interested in. I would personally go subscribe to the animal channel, because animals are awesome, and I get lots of cute videos of just my rats and my dog playing. I literally have a video of my dog and my rat playing, and my dog just I had my rats hanging out around my room, and my pug Basil was laying on my couch, and she was just ignoring them. So she was being so good. So I have a lot of cute videos of that, and I actually have my face on some of those videos too. I have videos of me and my animals. If you want to go see what my face looks like, you can go do that. I could really use more subscribers on that, because I have very few, and my animals deserve more attention than this. So subscribe, check out other channels, hit the like button, bell notification thing. Bye.